Hey y'all, it's finally happened. I'm gonna be smoking my very first brisket in the Masterbuilt electric smoker. I wanted to make sure I got some smokes in before I tackled the brisket. So I've done wings, I've done ribs, I've done a pork tenderloin, which did not turn out at all. But that one is okay. I'm gonna try that again later at some point. And I've done pork butt. So I feel like after 4 practice smokes, I think there might have been 5, I'm ready to take on this brisket. So after watching hours of little tutorial videos on electric smokers and smoking a brisket, I'm gonna give it a shot. So we're gonna head over to Costco, pick out a brisket, and we'll be right back. And with movie magic, it'll be right here in my hand. And here it is. We've got a prime cut right here. So we're gonna go ahead and trim this bad boy up and get it ready to go. But first, I'm gonna throw it in the freezer for about an hour because everybody seems to tell me that I need to let the fat get a little hard. So we'll be back in 1 hour.
So here it is, still in the plastic. Excuse the shotgun mic in the shadow. We get to work on some of the silver skin on there, which is very difficult for a novice to get under. And I tried my very best to get under it. Definitely easier to get the big pieces of fat there. But the silver skin I just could not get for the life of me. So I just focused on the little bits of fat. And I'm kind of like separating the fat and any meat that is attached to the fat that I accidentally get off or need to trim out. And that's because later on, which I actually don't show in this recording, I throw all the fat bits into a crock pot and get that thing nice and hot and melt down or render the fat over many hours on high to get like a beef tallow that I can use later on in the video. Any of the meat that I have that I separated, I kind of like chop that off camera, and the following morning I used those little pieces of leftover meat and cooked them up and put them in with eggs. So I made sure that I used them and didn't let them go to waste, because whenever I watch people do trimmings of this, I always feel really bad if it goes to waste. Most people don't, but I did see a couple videos where they kind of just like chucked the stuff out into the trash, and I wanted to avoid that. So anyway, back to all of this cutting that I'm doing right here. Hopefully it's all looking good to everybody, but I'm just making sure I'm kind of rounding out the edges of the brisket to get it nice and circular almost, or like kind of oval-esque, I guess, because it helps with the cook, I guess, if it's kind of like an oval and there's no ends. Not really sure. Anyway, here I'm adding a binding agent, which is mustard, which I know is going to catch a lot of flack. Apparently the salt and pepper can just stick on regularly, but I always love binding agents, and the one time I didn't do it when I was doing a pork butt, it really messed up the recipe. So you know what? I just decided to go with the binding agent here, but I'm using good old salt and pepper, putting it all over. And then after it's done, we put the brisket to rest, and it'll rest overnight. Good night, little brisket.
All right, so it's 4 a.m. and so it's time to get the smoker up and running. We're going to get this thing preheated and get it all set to throw that brisket on there. So right here, working with the Masterbuilt. So let's get it all set up.
Now, I just kind of want to come in here quick with a voiceover to let you know that I'm putting in the brisket with 2 racks kind of diagonally, because it is too big to fit in horizontally in this electric smoker. Throw in some meat probes to monitor the temperature, and let's keep going here.
So now that I got the brisket loaded up, I'm going to be using these Big Green Egg apple smoking chips, and let's get these in here, get some smoke going. Alright, so we're about 2 hours into the smoke. These are where our probes are at. 113, 106, and we're at 239 degrees.
We're gonna vent this out because I've heard a lot of stuff about getting rid of the steam buildup in here, and then we'll reload some of the chips. But here we go. Some of that, and we'll get a good little view right there of how we're looking. Haven't gotten like a whole lot of moisture building up yet, so we'll keep it on going, okay? Boo, you suck.
All right, so we are about 3 hours and 10 minutes into the cook. Both probes, about 137, 135. We're sitting at 230 right now inside the smoker. And now it's time to do some spritzing on the dry parts of the brisket. This is not pea, it is apple juice. And so here we go. We're gonna open this up and not get bombarded with smoke here. Okay, very nice. We got some dry bits right here. We're seeing some moisture there, but I want to give a little spritz. And you only want to get the dry parts, or at least that's what I've read about it, because we don't want to like hurt the bark. I'll pull this out a little bit. Okay, and now that we're spritzed, go. All right, so it is now currently 12:30 in the afternoon. I think I put the brisket in at 5 or 5:30 in the morning. I did not do a good job setting my own timers because I was sleepy, but I believe 5:30. So we're gonna go ahead and check this out real quick. Give it a spritz. The little probe thermometer thing that I ordered on Amazon, it's not exactly telling the correct temperature. I think it's like off by like 10, 15 degrees. So we're gonna use this bad boy and see if we can get a better reading from this. All right, so come on over, let's take a look. Getting some really good bark, so that's looking nice. We'll go ahead right now. Our probes are saying 170 and 174. Want to take a look at that. Right there, it's climbing 126, 130, 133. So as that continues to climb, it looks like we're looking at the 140s. I want to go right in here. Yeah, we're looking at right before 150. So, we're going to have a little bit more time in here, but I am going to spray this down. And whoop, get a little bit more moisture in the parts that are not so moist. So, right there, I think we're looking good, but we'll go a little bit on top, a little bit on the side here, and just a little bit up front there. I think that should be good. We'll go one more spritz. All right, back in she goes.
Boo, you suck.
All right, so we got this bad boy right here. I'll go ahead and pull these probes out. Whoop. Up here. Whoop. Okay. Now we'll transfer this guy over here. All right. Perfect. Now, we need to go in and wrap this. Get a little
Oh, this is the beef tallow that I was talking about earlier in the video. Spreading it around. Cute cantaloupe.
All right, so we started this at 5:30, somewhere around there. I probably should have written that down. But it is now 6 o'clock, and the temperature has gotten to that range between 195 and 205, which is what everyone has said on YouTube. So we're gonna pull this sucker, let it rest for 2 hours, and then cut it open and see how it goes. So let's pull this bad boy out. Oh yeah. Ooh. These. All right. Oh yeah. Probably should pull the probes. Get those out of there. Yeah. All right. And here we go. I've read and seen videos of people putting it in coolers. I've seen videos of people just leaving it out at room temperature to rest for 2 hours. I kinda, since it was around 195, I kinda wanna just test it out and put it in the oven, not the oven on, but put it in here and let it rest for 2 hours. So this is kind of a little bit of an experiment. We'll see how it goes. Let me know if you think that this is not the correct thing to do. But I'm going to not close it all the way. I'm gonna kinda leave it ajar like that. So then it's kind of the best of both worlds. So we'll be back in 2 hours and see how this thing goes. All right. We did it. And now for the most nerve-wracking part, actually seeing what this looks like and hoping that it cooked properly and that we did a good job. Now I want to remind you, this is the very first time I've ever done this, doing a brisket in an electric smoker. If this goes well, maybe I'll do it on an offset in the future. We'll see. Here we go. Here we go. Oh man, I think that's looking pretty good. All right, moment of truth. Let's see how we're looking in here. Okay, feels pretty smooth. Now I'm not gonna squeeze this, but that's looking pretty good. Anytime I see people squeeze it, I always feel bad that the juice is coming out. But let's make some cuts. Smells really good. All right, kind of work some little. Okay, I might have butchered that just a little bit, but it does pull apart pretty well. So clearly I need to learn some slicing styles here. But you know, it's looking and feeling good. I'm gonna just try to not butcher this thing more, okay? So take this little bit, and it does bend right over. Very nice. I think for a first time, I'm thinking it looks pretty good. Stay tuned for the taste test here once we get this thing cut up. But we're gonna give this thing a good old taste test. All right, here we go. The taste test. Put that right down in the middle. Now it should pull a little bit easier, but that's okay. First brisket in the electric smoker. It's good. If you have any tips, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to eat some brisket. See ya!